can of corn and just catch it like that, infield fly. Okay. Once you call infield fly, if the runners tag up and go, they can go. Okay, so say as soon as you say infield fly, batter's out, and you say it loud. You say with authority where everybody can hear it. Once you say that, you tag, and then you can run until I say time. Okay, runners, when you're a base runner, you can keep running until I say time. But once you stop taking your forward progress, it's time. Okay, so like say you're going at first, and you're doing one of these numbers, like that. I'm calling time.
Okay, so we can't keep running until the pitcher's on the rubber?
No, you can keep running until, the ball's infield. It doesn't have to be to the pitcher. Okay. As long as the ball's infield and you're not advancing.
Right.
So if you're advancing, there is no time. If you're advancing.
If the pitcher steps on the rubber, it's done, right?
If you're still advancing, it doesn't matter where you're at.
All right.
If you're advancing. But once you take your first step backwards, like you're going towards your original base,
right,
then it's over with.
Okay.
It's time.
Okay.
Now the home plate umpire is the only one that can call infield fly?
Yeah, infield. The home umpire calls infield fly. The outfielder does, or the person that's out there with you doesn't call it.
The field down.
Yeah. What's the other one? Okay, so if a batter hits the ball, boom, and she goes towards the fence, she's not out. She makes it to the base. If she goes towards the fence. Now, if she makes any advancement towards second base, and she gets tagged, she's out.
Right, if she rounds the corner?
She goes to first, and she takes one half step towards second base, and they tag her, she's out.
Got to run through the orange bag.
You got to run through. That's what the orange bag is there for.
Right.
Yep. If you know you're not going to second base, tell your girls, hit that orange bag, go to the right. Right. Because I will call you out if you're going towards second base and you get tagged out. If you say this is the ball, this is your glove, and I tag you with my glove, you're not out. Ball has to touch you to be out. Right. Okay, so you can't be like, you're out, but I got the ball over here.
No, ball in the glove.
If you have the ball in the glove, you're out. But if you don't have them both together and you have them separate, you're out, or you're safe. But if I tag you with the ball without the glove, you're still out. Okay? All calls, like say there's a discrepancy where coaches are like, oh no, she was safe, she was out. Only head coaches are allowed to attempt to go to the home plate umpire and say, hey, time, I have a question, or I have, I think she was safe, or I think she was out. You can't have 3 or 4 coaches at the same time bombarding, and I don't mean to just keep looking at you.
No, you're good. You're good, bro.
But
I know what's going on.
Right.
I appreciate it.
So you don't want all 3 coaches and parents and everything come bombarding the home umpire. Okay, right. Head coaches only. Us 3 would get together, and you would say your grievance, or you would say yours, and then say he's the outside umpire. Him and I would talk, and then once we call it, that is it.
Yeah.
That's the call.
Yeah, right.
And then if say it keeps being like people are being argumentative, coach, that's your warning. Coach, that's your warning. You get 1 warning, and then after that, after your second warning, you have to get out of the base. Your dugout. You're done for the game. Okay, because last year and the last couple of years is so much arguing. It's like it delays the game.
Parents in the outfield, they'll keep yapping and yapping.
So the parents in the outfield, that's a good way to bring that up. All right, parents in the dugouts and everything. It's up to you coaches to control your own team crowd.
Yep.
Okay. So if I go up to you and say, "Hey, coach, your people out there, they're chirping at my girl, or they're chirping at the girls, or they're chirping, they're being rude or whatever," that also counts as a warning. Okay, it'll be a warning, and then after that, I'll say time.
Even if it's just verbal to me.
Yeah. Well, if they're using bad language or something like that, it's one thing saying, "Come on, coach, do something." There's a gray line there. But if they're saying F that player, or whatever, then that's when as a home umpire you step in and you say, "Coach, control your crowd. Control your crowd." You'll get your 2 warnings, and then after that, I would tell the person that's creating the disturbance, "Hey, she needs to leave. He or she needs to leave." And then that's what I wouldn't go directly to your people, but I was like, "Coach, you need to tell that person to go out to the parking lot." Okay. They don't have to leave, but they have to at least go to the parking lot so that they can wait for their kid there. Right. And then if they don't leave, then that's when we say time. And then if they can't get under control, either A, we'll forfeit the game, or not forfeit, but we'll call the game or call the cops. Calling the cops is the last thing we ever want to do. I'd rather call a game than call the cops. Right. The way I umpire is at the beginning of each game, I have one head umpire or head coach, the other head coach, meet me at home plate. we'll discuss the range of pitching. 6 to 12 feet is the arc that we're looking for. 6 to 12 feet of the arc. If it's flat, we're gonna call it. Okay. Now, if I say that she's pitching the ball and I say illegal, the batter can still swing. It's up to the batter at the end of the day if they swing at the high ones, the low ones. But if I say illegal, it's still a swingable ball, but it's automatic ball. You guys got that? So if it's not an arc and I say illegal, but she still swings, it'll count as a hit or a strike. But if I say illegal and she doesn't do anything, it's going to be counted as a ball.
Okay.
Okay?
But if they're committed, though, on the legal, it's fine, right?
Yeah, if I say illegal and they're committed and they still want to swing, it's fair game. Fair ball if they hit it. But if they swing it and they miss, it'll count as a strike. Okay, or foul tip or whatever.
All right.
So for little girls, there's you can't foul out. So you can keep swinging, and if you keep tipping that ball, you're in there until you hit or you get struck out. Big girls, you can foul out. So say you're on 2 strikes and you're a big girl and you swing and you tip the ball on your second strike, that's 3 strikes, you're out. Okay. 2 people on the base. Oh, go ahead.
Big girls, we can slide, correct?
No.
No?
Big girls, you cannot slide.
Okay.
I mean, you can. Yes, it's a yes, and that's a gray area. You can slide, but you can't put your foot up. You know what I'm saying? You can like slide into the base, like
You can slide into the bag, man.
you can slide it in the bag, but you can't put your foot up. Like you know how like normally when you slide, people put their feet up.
Yeah.
If somebody gets cleat, we don't want people to get cleated.
No.
And I know you can't wear cleats in this league, but that's the whole thing not to do is put your feet. If you're
Nobody does it, but somebody told me it was an option if you want.
It is and it isn't. It'll be a judgment call on the home umpire or the outside umpire if they feel like she's purposely putting her foot up to get away from the tag. Yeah. Okay. 2 defenders on base. So say we're at second base, there's a play at second. I got shortstop and second base both touching the base, and my runner can't get there. That's interference on defense. The runner's safe.
Blocking the base.
Yeah, the runner's safe.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Throwing the bat.
Yes, you get 1 warning per batter about throwing the bat. And it's hard for us to keep track of who's who because, every girl, so many girls coming through the lineup.
Girls play fast pitch, and if you smack the ball, they kind of throw it.
They do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do.
And catchers have shin pads on, so I get it and all that.
And I don't know how many times I've been hit with the bat over the years, but when they swing the bat and they chuck it, or if it hits the fence, out. That's without a warning. The first time that ball hits a fence, she's out. But say she just chucks it and it just hits the ground, warning, hey coach, tell your girl to hold on to that bat. And I'm very lenient with it. I know we're all, especially with the little girls, we're learning. We're sitting there trying to teach these girls how to play. So with the little girls, I'm more lenient about throwing the bat. Big girls, you get that 1 warning and that's it. You've been in the league long enough, or you're old enough to know not to throw the bat.
Right.
What else is there? I talked about running. Once you start running back to your original base, that's the time.
How far does the ball have to go?
Front of the plate, home plate. That's
Yeah.
it. Once it passes that home plate, that's fair ball. It could go 1 inch in front of it. It could hit the black. So
Because there's no bunts, but if
No.
they hit a little dribbler.
Well, it has to be a swing. It has to be like, it can't just be like a jerky move. It has to be a swing. But there's a little black line on each plate that if it hits the black, and a good umpire knows when it hits the plate right way. If it hits the black, it's gonna roll fast right off of it.
Right.
It's not just gonna, you're not gonna hear that thud.
Okay.
You're gonna see that ball roll right fast. That ball could go 1 inch in front of that plate, and that's fair ball. So when umpire's saying fair ball, he doesn't say anything but point. He just does this. That means fair ball.
Okay.
Now, if the umpire's saying time, both hands go up, and you say it loud, time! And then everything stops. Once I say time, that's it. Doesn't matter if I get an argument from a coach or a parent, whatever, time is time. We have the final decision at the end of the game or the play.
Parents don't really matter. They're here to watch.
Right. But there's always that one parent.
I know, but they're here to watch, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And
Coaches.
Yeah.
Some coaches.
What else? Throwing the bat, infield fly rule. Okay, so say the ball gets hit and it rolls and it's going towards first base and the ball goes into foul territory in front of first base, that's foul ball. Foul ball, dead ball, everybody returns to their base. Okay?
How about the dugout?
If the ball goes in the dugout, dead play.
Okay.
Dead play. The run. So say I hit the ball and the ball goes out in left field. The girl throws it in and the ball ends up in the dugout. They get one advance of bases. One advance.
So
That's it.
If they're on first, they get second.
Right. If they were on first, they would get second base. Yeah, because it's not the runner's fault that the outfielder threw it in the dugout.
Right.
The game's still playing.
Right.
So you get one advancement per base.
On the overthrow.
Yeah, on an overthrow. This year we got a fence here, so I don't think that's going to be that's not going to be a much of an issue.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, last year it was an issue because
it was.
people didn't know.
And parents sat there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm surprised more people didn't actually get hit with the ball. So when you're an umpire, be loud. When I'm umpiring, everybody knows that I'm umpiring. I'm time, out, safe. Be confident in your calls. So you don't want to be the umpire that says out safe, safe out. You don't want to do that.
Right.
Because once you lose confidence in your umpires, you lose confidence in the game. Okay, and then that's when people get judgy. People like, well, if he or she didn't see that play and they're calling out safe, they don't know what they're doing, and they got the hands in like that. How could I trust that they saw the play, a bang bang play? Okay, and so a bang bang play would be, say the girl's throwing it at first, the runner and the ball gets there at the same time. I always go tie goes to the runner.
Yes.
Tie goes to the runner because it takes a lot more effort for them to get to that first base than the ball to get to. The ball's faster than the runner. Right. So if it's a bang bang play, I generally call it safe. Now, am I 100% right? No, I'm human. But normally I'm calling you safe if it's a bang bang play. Injuries. Say there's a play where a girl gets hurt or whatever. The ball is still live, okay? The ball is still live until I call time. And I will call time once the ball is infield and the runner stopped running. So let's say the ball gets hit to right field. The girl's running and for whatever reason she trips and hurts her ankle. Well, that's not the batter's fault. That's, she got hurt unfortunately, but somebody else has to get that ball in for the play to stop. Okay, so injuries happen, and I get it, but you just want to make sure you tell your girls that when somebody gets hurt, keep playing. Keep playing because it's not your fault that person got hurt. Sportsmanship. I will give out warnings if, say, two teams are heated rivalries and they're talking trash at school, but now it came to the field. You get one warning as a team. So say, there's a person at third base talking trash to the batter or whatever. That's a warning. And then after that, I start counting outs. You're going to be out. You're going to be sitting out. I don't know how the rules changed where we used to be able to sit them out for an inning or two, but I don't know if they're all the way out or I have to check on that part. But if we're not doing the bullying part this year.
No.
So if you start seeing bullying out there, I expect the coaches to handle it before I do or the umpires do. And then if the coaches are not doing anything about it, then I'll step in and do what I got to do or our umpires got to do. What else?
I forget what team it was last year, but it was big time bullying last year.
Yeah, and we're trying to stay on top of that this year. When somebody's running into third and the catcher has the ball, the runner does not have no right to extend their arms to try to push the catcher to try to get her to drop the ball. That's a penalty on the catcher. The girl's safe. Okay, there's been too many times where there's been mainly on the big girls.
So if the catcher has her arms out, or the runner?
No, the catcher can have the tag.
Right.
But if there's a runner on third running home and she's just bulldozing and she just runs over the catcher, no, you can't do that.
Okay,
you can't purposely try to hurt the catcher to try to get yourself safe.
Right.
You can't do
that.
that.
Goes for really any base.
Yeah, but you'll be out. I will call out anyway, and any umpire should call out too, because that's kind of like safety thing. We want to be safe. Smoking. So if you have people that want to smoke cigarettes or something like that, they have to go to the parking lot. Weed, if we smell weed and all that, and we know who's doing it, there's zero tolerance to that. You will be kicked out immediately. Alcohol, the same thing. If we catch you drinking out of a Circle K cup or whatever, and we know it's alcohol, you're out. You're going to sit out, and I think you're suspended one game if when it comes to the weed or alcohol and stuff like that. You're out, and you have to get escorted out. We'll always have a board member here to confirm that and to keep an eye on people drinking, smoking, or whatever as much as we can. Again, we're here to have a good time and watch the game, so hopefully we don't have to deal with that as much as we have in the past. Parking. do not have your coach or your coaches / parents park anywhere in the grass. You know, we don't own this property, so people parking in the grass is a no-no. The cops will come and we could possibly get towed. So try not to park in the grass. Okay.
Also the handicap spots if they're not tagged.
Yeah, if you have a handicap sticker, more than welcome to use it. If not, please leave with somebody else to use it. Trash. Please, after every game or practice, make sure the dugout's clean because there's another team behind you that's going to be there, and they shouldn't have to clean up after you guys. Just make sure that you clean up after yourselves. Proper attire. So every girl is required to wear the uniforms issued. So if you have your shirt bedazzled, nope, you can't play. You're out. If you have the different types of shirts that we give you, say they're too high or too low, whatever, nope, you can't play. Because I know there's been issues I've been doing this for 21 years, and there's always that one girl that forgot her socks or forgot her shorts or whatever. We're sorry, but this year, if you don't have the proper uniform, you can't play until you get your uniform up to date. Keep that in mind and tell all the coaches that. Every coach already know that, but make sure they have the proper uniforms. What I usually do, I keep an extra pair of socks in my trunk. A couple of extra pairs of socks. It's always the socks. I don't know why.
And all the girls are going to get 2 pairs of socks.
Right. I always keep an extra couple of pairs of shorts and a couple pairs of socks in my trunk. And then sometimes where I've even had where a girl is this big wearing a size 15 shirt, it was big as hell, but hey, she got to play though.
Right.
You know, it don't matter like that. If you can get her in a uniform, get her in a uniform. But we don't want nobody drawing on there. We don't want no bedazzling, no altering the uniforms at all. Softballs. This happened about 3 years ago. Do not freeze your softballs. Don't put them in a cooler, okay? There's people that put their softballs in coolers. It makes the ball hit different. I'm not going to tell you why I'm being recorded. That's why I'm saying it. But don't freeze the softballs. Keep the softballs in the bag that we got. What else? I'm trying to think. You guys have any questions? Any questions? I think I covered just about everything, man. You have any questions or anything that you want to get addressed?
I don't think so.
Okay. Again, we're going to have another one on Saturday. Hopefully we can get more people there. But that's all I got. So.
We got a few on Saturday. A few that didn't come today, so maybe they might come on Saturday.
Saturday's the last one.
Yeah.
So, and that's the last time I could do it. So,
yeah.
Again, show up. If you can't make it as an umpire, you call an hour or two ahead of time. Being here at a game as a coach and you have no umpires is very frustrating, okay? We should not have a parent come out of the dugout or the stands to come umpire, or have a board member come out and umpire. That's ridiculous. You get paid well enough this year, especially this year. You get paid well enough this year to show up on time. It's like pretend it's a part-time job and show up. Call in 2 hours at least ahead of time so we can make the proper arrangements to get somebody here. I think that's all I got. Saturday. Oh, what you got?
Also, you'll get paid weekly the Monday after. So the Monday after the games, then the Monday after, then
like last year.
I don't know. I wasn't on the board last year, but
It'll be a little bit better this year.
Okay. All right. So.
And I'll be the one paying you, so you might want to find me for your check.
Okay. And then so Saturday, for people that's getting this sent to them, if you still want to show up. I like questions. I may not have covered everything you may have questions over, and this goes to coaches too. If you have questions, you can always email me. My email's in the paperwork there. So, or you can call me. My number's on there too.
Do you have an umpire group chat?
I do not.
Okay, we need
Well, I don't know if she set up one or not,
Not yet.
Okay.
but that's all I got, guys. If you guys don't have any questions.
Yep.
Yeah, good?
All right. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
Thank you.